Meteorological observations in Torbay on the UK southwest coast. During the main holiday seasons it frequently rains here in Torbay. It can be hot and dry for weeks prior to the main holidays, but as soon as a massive influx of motorists arrive, the rain with uncanny synchronisation also arrives. This could be just another coincidence, but it does happen most years. Jokingly, people have long argued that the holidaymakers bring the rains with them, and there may be some truth behind this. So what changes have occurred that might be responsible for causing it to rain during the main holidays, and could we put this to good practice elsewhere? Vehicle exhaust emissions are increased when the seasonal influx of holidaying people arrive, especially during the last week in July and first week in August, when most companies close for 2 weeks. So can we make it rain? Seeding clouds with fine particles is a practice that involves releasing dust from aircrafts and putting to good effect where crops are at risk from prolonged droughts. Salt crystals, for example, have been used, and the idea behind this is that the droplets form around dust particles, inducing rain to fall. All vehicles release particles in their exhaust fumes, and the hot exhaust gases rise high into the atmosphere, along with a considerable amount of water and carbon dioxide, or CO2. The combined weight of CO2 and H2O emitted by burning 1 US gallon of gasoline is 27 pounds. 1 gallon of petroleum weighs 6.3 pounds. The amount of oxygen converted to H2O and CO2 by burning the gasoline is 21.7 pounds, and 7 pounds of this is water. The US military, for example, are recovering 1 gallon of potable water from burning 2 gallons of fuel in a Hummer. 21 pounds of oxygen is removed from the atmosphere by consuming with petroleum through the engine and emitted from the exhaust as H2O and CO2. When you multiply that 21 pounds by the consumption of gasoline by the local and holiday traffic patrolling the coastal roads, it is not difficult to understand how vehicles could be responsible for priming the local climate and inducing rain. The hot exhaust gases rapidly cool, lowering the air pressure next to the coast, and the moisture-laden clouds are drawn in from the sea as the air cools and is pulled down towards the ground. A similar natural process over forested areas, where transpiration provides a drop in temperature of 2 to 4 degrees compared to arid land devoid of vegetation, has been shown to induce more rainfall. More to the point, the heated tarmac road surface provides the opposite effect, where hot dry air or thermals rise high into the atmosphere and effectively prevent the influx of moisture from the ocean to the land by causing an effective thermal barrier, much the same as the heated sands and stones on a desert coastline prevents moisture from fog, mist and rain clouds from crossing onto the parched arid landscapes. On occasions, the moisture from the ocean is sufficiently cool to cause fog and provides us with a visual means of observing its behaviour over various land surfaces. In our particular part of the coast, we are privileged to be visited by some unusually low-level clouds we call mist or fog, rolling along the coastline. This provides us with a visual understanding of how a seemingly innocent-looking road surface and sandy beach can prevent moisture from crossing onto the land and condensing on the leaves of trees to fall to the soil. In this video, during a rare occasion where moisture is visible, we can see a bank of fog hugging the coastline and moving along the coast rather than crossing over onto the land, except for a very narrow corridor of woodland, no wider than the width of a dual carriageway in Preston, located in Torbay, Devon, UK. The moisture is prevented from crossing onto the land and cannot cross over the hot dry coastline beyond the solar heated road surface. On the ocean side of the road, we can clearly see that it is shrouded in fog, while the land side of the coastal road is bathed in bright sunshine and devoid of moisture during a very warm summer's day. The event has been witnessed many times and can last for many hours as the mist rolls around like washing in a tumble dryer and is channeled along the coast. Where the narrow corridor of trees meets the sea in Holcombe, the mist is observed to roll inland and hugs the wooded areas, but goes no further than above the tree line. Walking in the trees on these particular days, the temperature is several degrees below the outsider, of the trees, and the air is saturated with water. The trees are dripping and the ground is moistened. When the mist finally vanishes, it remains shrouding the trees, and the trees are observed to milk the remaining water from the air over several more hours. Thermals rising from the hot tarmac road can be seen as you drive along it. You can see a wavy thermal pattern as the heat rises. These thermals rise high into the atmosphere and form an invisible barrier against ocean-borne humidity. These same thermals cause the same barrier along the desert coastlines and are undoubtedly responsible for the inherent lack of rainfall in these areas. Trees transpire vast amounts of water into the atmosphere, and in doing so remove the thermal barrier that prevents clouds and mist from crossing onto the land. They lower the temperature, and as warm moist air rises it is cooled, causing a downdraft which causes warm air to rise in, a density flow. And indeed this can be seen happening at times when dew point has been reached. The UK holiday traffic in Torbay involves a massive increase in vehicles cruising along the hot roads. The exhaust emissions contain collectively a vast amount of water vapour, releasing it into the atmosphere along with the particles which rise due to the heat from the combustion. These gases quickly cool, transferring the heat into the atmosphere and fall back towards the ground, while the hot dry air rises again, generating the same flow and return system that the trees perform. This additional water from exhausts also blocks out some of the sun's energy and, like the trees, removes the thermal barrier so that moisture from the ocean can again cross onto the land and fall as rain.
Was unable to cross over onto the land. Jude, come and have a look at this. Yeah, see that bank of fog that's in the path? Yeah, it's stuck above the trees, look. See all the trees below it? That's exactly what I'm saying is going to happen.
Yeah, see views. Stand on our road.
We hope you have enjoyed our video and commentary, and we hope you would like to understand more about Operation Oasis, which stands for Overseas Arid Soil Irrigation Solution, and water and carbon and nutrient recycling. For more information, please visit our website and forum at www.operationoasis.com, where we will be uploading video and audio content along with text and documents in the next few weeks. Our aim is to anaerobically treat sewage and wastewater and excess farm slurry in redundant, very large crude carriers or VLCCs and ultra-large crude carriers or ULCCs anchored offshore to produce methane gas for the national grid and ship the treated wastewater to the arid coastlines of countries affected by deserts and desertification to introduce virgin rainforest in lands where rain seldom falls. Currently, all major cargo shipping transports seawater as ballast halfway around the world for no financial gain, and has to pay to sterilise the seawater before it is released back into the ocean. Ballast is required to lower the tankers back into the water when they have offloaded their cargo. Not only will Operation Oasis give the tanker owners a paid return cargo, but it will offset their emissions, converting the CO2 into timber, effectively removing them from the atmosphere. Our goal is to build self-sustaining, environmentally friendly ecosystems with agroforestry, which is a combination of forestry and agriculture, to convert excess carbon emissions into renewable useful products of timber and food. We intend to reverse the deserts by rolling them back with a carpeted forest, irrigated with treated wastewater from indigenous and external sources. Andrew K Fletcher. Thank you.